Hey, this is Rosa, RCG Creations. How are you? Today I'm bringing you a canning project. We're going to pressure can meatloaf. Okay? What we do is, let me look at my recipe. Normally this recipe calls for a bigger amount because we're empty nesters, and I'll be honest with you, this is my first time making it. I'm not making a big batch just in case, okay? So I'm going to do a 1/3 of the batch of the recipes, but normally it calls for 9 pounds of hamburger. And I am going to raw pack this. So this is going to be raw packed. Okay. Get the plastic out of here. Alrighty. Well, let me have that towel, please. Monsieur, as my husband over here. He doesn't want to be on camera. Okay. So I'm going to give the bowl to him, and he's going to do all the mixing. Okay, so he's going to mix that all up. And he's actually going to make his a lot different than mine because he does not into veggies and into the onions and any of that stuff. So his is just going to be plain meat and spices is all that's going to have in his. Oh, he's going to have a little bit of tomato sauce, tomato paste, not a whole lot. And I buy my, this tomato paste we bought at Clover Valley. It's the Clover Valley brand. We bought it at Aldi. And this little bottle can only cost, I think it was like 15 cents. So if y'all have an Aldi near you, and of course, it goes by, the price goes by location like any other store. Check them out. For tomato paste, I mean, you can spend more money, but it pretty much, to me, it tastes just as good as all the other brands. Okay, now we're going to add, he wants to add onion and herb. Salt-free Mrs. Dash. So we're just going to sprinkle, and this is really kind of user-friendly. You can go by measurements, or you can just go by looks. I will be in the description box and also on the video itself. I'm going to write the actual description of what the recipe calls for and what I actually used. Okay, and that will be added in there. Okay. So next we're going to add, he wants to add, oh, he doesn't want to add this one. Did. Okay, he added the Southwest Chipotle. Okay, and then next is the Cajun seasonings. This is spicy. Okay, then you just mix it all up, and let me go grab some jars, and we're going to put it in a jar. And then basically all you're doing now is just slide it into the jar. Now we're using the tall, you definitely for this meatloaf, because you want it to slide out, use the small one, or you can use the tall one. We're going to go ahead and just do the tall one because this is an experiment. You can drop it in like little balls, or just pop it in however you want to pop it in. Then you use your fingers and you squish it down kind of flat, so it kind of makes like a little tube. And it's going to do that anyway a little bit when it's in processing, because it's going to process for 90 minutes. Because we're doing, these are the quart jars actually, tall mouth quart jars. And I want to make sure I'm reading my directions correctly. You use your fingers to push it down. Yeah, that's it. That's all you need to do. Add the rest of your meat in there. So he's actually used, because we got a 9 pound, no, this is a 6 pound. How big is this meat? We used a roll. How big is his roll?
I think it's 3 pounds.
Oh, this is 3 pounds, so he's got 1.5 pounds. So actually one whole jar, 1.5 pounds will fit one entire jar. And you want to give yourself a 1-inch head space. I'm reading the directions to make sure. Because you can put this in pints, or you can put it in quarts. Okay, we'll just use that for mine. We'll put it in this one. Okay, and see here, here's his finished project. So he's done. So this took practically about, actually, he's going to go ahead and put all this in here. Put all the meat in there. And this is 3 pounds, excuse me, 1.5 pounds of meat. Okay, so now for my mixture, go ahead and
That's gonna be spicy.
it's not gonna hurt. It's gonna mix it up. Now he's got spices in his, so. Okay, so we're gonna do 1.5 pounds of ground beef. This is raw because we're doing a raw pack method. Now we're gonna add 2 tablespoons of onions. Oh, I didn't give my measurements. That's okay, we're just gonna pour. We're just gonna pour it in. Here, I'm actually just gonna pour. And I freeze my onions. I dice them all up, put them in a freezer bag, and freeze them up so that way they're ready. There's a little bit of water in there, but that's okay, that's not gonna hurt nothing. And I'm just doing this. This is my jar. I like me some onions, especially when they're cooked and processed. I love the onion flavor. So I'm just pouring, but typically the recipe says you're going to use 4 diced onions, 3 diced bell peppers, 2 packets of dry onion soup mix, and 1 tablespoon of garlic salt, and 1 tablespoon of onion salt.
That's for 9 pounds.
I don't eat onions.
That's for 9 pounds of meat.
That's what I said in the beginning. Yeah, I said that in the beginning. Okay, so now I'm going to be pouring in my bell pepper, and I'm going to show you. I'm going to pick up the bowl so you can get a better view. I like the veggies, so I'm going to be adding some veggies. And if you wanted to, if you don't want this extra juice in there, because it's going to make its own juice anyway, because we're not adding any water to it, go ahead and feel free to drain it. Drain your veggies first if you've got a frozen package. And see here, there it is right there. Oh, you forgot to put the mayo, the tomato sauce. We'll have to get his out.
Get that out. You have to have that?
That's for extra flavor.
I don't need that.
We're going to skip that. We'll see what happens tomorrow when we eat this. We're either going to eat it tomorrow or we're going to eat it Saturday. I'm not for sure when. So we're going to let him mix it all up with his fingers. So he's going to mix all that up. And I only use about 1/2 of the can. And this is just a small little 6-ounce jar. Because the recipe does call to use for 3 of these for the entire 9 pounds. And since we're only doing 1/3, I did about 1/3 of this can because it is a little bit more than half. So I did about right. Okay, we'll save that tomato paste. Okay, then let me add me some, yeah, because we're going to take that out because we forgot your onion soup mix. But he doesn't like onions anyway, so we're not doing onion for him. So, let me get my measuring spoon, cup. This is 1/4 of a cup. Now this is, I'm only doing about, not all the way a full cup. I'll mix all that up. What I've done is, on this one, for convenience, because I'm limited in my little space in my galley kitchen here, this is that Lipton onion soup mix. And I got 4 packages of that stuff. And I put them all, I open up the packages and I put them all in my jar. That way it's already done. And I just pour as I need. And I just put it in a jar, mason jar like this. And then I seal it because this is used on a regular basis. Okay, we're going to do 1 egg. We'll do 1 egg. Well, I'm going to break it. His hands are all yucky from mixing. Mix it all up. Okay, and then I'm going to put in while he's mixing up. Go ahead and mix it all up.
Put it all in there.
I am, but just go ahead and mix it. Just continue mixing. This is going to be mixed really. This is one thing you do really have to do on this is you have to mix it really, 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 really well. Okay. And I make my own onion powder. I dehydrate my onions. And I make my own powder. I'm not going to put a whole lot of this because I got a lot of onions in it, so I'm good. And I don't like salt. I don't eat salt as much as possible, so I'm not, the recipe calls for onion salt and garlic salt, but I'm just doing garlic powder and onion powder because I am not, I'm trying to, I have to watch my salt intake, so if I need salt, I just table it on my plate. I will add salt to my plate if I think I need more, if I need some more salt. And I also do the same thing with the garlic. I get fresh garlic, dehydrated in my dehydrator, and then I put it to the little coffee blender that I have, and it makes it into a really extra fine powder. Oh, this one. Yeah, we're going to mix this. This is the extra, because this is only going to be enough for 2. Okay, so we have done, let me double check my list, make sure we got everything. We got the hamburger, we got the bell pepper, we got the onions, we got the onion soup mix. Sorry about he banged into the chair. Sorry, the table, sorry. The garlic salt, the onion salt, but actually we use garlic powder and onion powder. It asks for 4 large eggs, but because it's a small 1/3 of a batch, we're only doing 1 egg. And then the tomato paste. It's all mixed up, so now we're just going to put it in the jar. And again, you just drop it in like little plops, and then once it gets higher, you just squish it down with your fingers. And then that's pretty much it. And this is ready to roll. Then we're going to put it, well, I'll wipe the jar, the lids, clean them all with my vinegar water, my vinegar liquid, not vinegar water, vinegar, and a paper towel, so I remove all the little oils. You know what, let me get this another jar, because we're going to have 1.5. Need a bigger one? So actually this 3 pounds is making 6 jars, and it says it normally makes 9.5 jars, so that's pretty much about right. Oh, I have all that extra stuff in mine. You don't have any of that extra stuff. You didn't put no tomato paste in yours?
Doesn't matter. Ain't gonna take up space.
Okay, so that's everything? You can go wash your hands, honey. So this is where it made. This one's mine, and his is plain Jane. His is plain Jane. Just poke your hand in there and take it. I'm gonna get a spoon and you can take it out. You want to? I think it'd taste better if you had egg and tomato paste at least. It would make it more like a meatloaf. Okay. All right. So I'm gonna get my vinegar, which I have right here. Get my clean paper napkin. Don't forget, always start any kind of a cooking project with a clean and sterilized surface. Make sure all your utensils are clean and sterilized. Anything that you're using, and of course your hands. Make sure those are clean and sterilized also. Okay, so I'm just going to wipe my rims. Okay. Pass me the wide mouth lids are right there in that box. And a lid and ring. But I need my rims. Are you going to take it out and redo it? You know what? He changed his mind. He's going to take it out and redo his. Very, very carefully use the knife, because you don't want to crack or chip any of the glass. That's one thing, is you don't ever want to put anything sharp, a sharp knife or anything. You don't even want to put a butter knife in here, because if it scratches or nicks, that will compromise the jar in the pressure canning process, and it could cause crack or seepage or breakage. So now we're going to give him an egg. And while he's doing that, I'll get my rings and my lids. And then he'll put a tomato paste in his. You want some onion soup mix? He don't like onions. let me grab my rings and lids and we're ready to roll. Now I keep my, whoops, I just dropped one. We'll grab another one. I have to clean that one. That one's not clean. I wash with soap, hot water and soap my lids and my rings. Oh, he's changed his mind. He's going to try a little bit of this stuff. So I'm going to sprinkle just a little bit. He's going to tell me when. Okay. Very, I think it's only like 1 teaspoon of the onion soup mix. But you know, this really has flavor to it. But I put mine in a Ziploc baggie and I always seal it. That way I know they're clean. Because with the new ball recommendation is you don't have to put them in hot boiling water. And I've been canning. This is my first time canning this year. And I've been canning since March. And knock on wood, this is a wood table, I have not had any issues at this time. So I've been very lucky. Now I like to have the word ball face the same way as the writing. If the jar has writing. If it doesn't, if it's just a picture, that's okay. That way, it's just a rule of thumb for me to do all my jars that way. So that way, if I have jars and I end up giving them away as a gift, or I just give it to somebody. Because I'm going to be honest with you, this year with all this pandemic stuff, I've actually been doing some bartering with some friends, because none of them pressure can, but they like the food for pressure canning, certain foods. So they'll send me a text and say, hey, have you made any cowboy candy, or have you made any pinto beans, and stuff like that. We'll take some of that out and put it in here. And then actually, so what I'm doing is I'm trading, because these, my friends that I'm talking about, they actually order that food order stuff where you have the food delivered to you and sent to you. And so we have an actual meal. What's the name of that one place? Do you know, honey? The name of that one place for that meal that Amy gave us.
Oh, Home Chef. Okay,
Home Chef. You've tried them out. Homechef.com. You order the food, and then they deliver to you. And I want to tell you, we had a teriyaki
steak noodles.
Teriyaki steak noodles, and then the other one was an Asian. What was the other one called?
Black bean rice.
Oh yeah, black bean rice. I tell you, number one, everything's already come to you prepackaged, so it's already done. Which is what exactly pressure canning is. So now when I want to some meatloaf, or I come home late, or we have an errand that we have to run, and we have like an hour to eat by the time I get home from work, and then eat, and then take off and go. This is exactly why I started pressure canning, because just don't have the time to do a full from scratch meal that takes 2.5 hours. So I have now, and I'm only pressure canning what I know we want to eat. And that's it. I'm not pressure canning anything just to be pressure canning. I'm pressure canning food that I know we're going to eat. Like in this, for example, Hubby doesn't like veggies. I love veggies, so I know, and he knows and I know when it's done, if he sees any green stuff in there, he knows that's my jar. And he knows not to eat it, because that's my jar. He's welcome to it, but he's going to be eating some veggies, and I don't think he wants to eat veggies. I need to make sure. Sorry, I was busy talking, and I forgot to see if I cleaned the grill. Okay. Let me get to the front. I know I saw lettering on here. Okay, there's the measurement. Okay, there it is. And it just makes for a quick, easy meal because everything is pre-packaged. You just basically cook it. It's already pre-cut. almost everything is pre-cut, individually packaged. So you can't get any easier than that, other than going out to a restaurant and spending money and spending more money and having a good home-cooked meal at home. Wipe this off. It's not going to make a difference in the canner, but there's some drippings here. Now let me put this one here. Oops. That one didn't get scraped. Okay, let's see what my wording is. There's ball right there. Okay, yeah. Go ahead and put those in the jar. I already did that on a separate video. Yesterday we made some burritos in a jar. And you catch that video, you need to watch that video to catch the video on that one. And then today, but because we were empty nesters, I've only got 5 jars of the burritos in a jar. And now we've only got 3 of these, so I wanted to be able to have a full canner. So we're going to go ahead and pressure can all that now. Okay. And I'll be right back. I'm going to go to the pressure can and help hubby put these in the canner. And then I'll bring the video over to you so you can see what's going on. Okay. And he doesn't want to be in the video, so I'll make sure not to put him in the video. So. Okay, here is the jar, but because these other ones are so wide, we're not going to have room, so we're going to have to do a double batch of this. Alright, so see the jar? We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. This only holds 7. So we'll press this for 90 minutes, and then once this is over with, we'll wait till my canner cools down, and we'll do the other 1 jar left. Okay, we'll be back on that vase. Okay, my timer just went off. And I had a full steady stream of steam, so I just put my weight on. Once my dial gets to 240, this should start jiggling. And when it's a vigorous little jiggle, that's when you set your timer for your processing time. And the processing time on this is 90 minutes. And these are quart jars. Okay, great. We'll bring you back when it's that time. Hey, we're back here. This is the meatloaf in a jar. We ended up with 10 quarts and 1 pint. Now it's kind of funny because pretty much every single jar we made, pretty sure we gave it about a 1.5 inch headspace. So we filled it about to right here, like on this jar right here. And we're pretty sure, because we were really kind of keeping an eye on that. I could be wrong. But then again, you know, it's ground beef. I forget what percentage it was, but look at that. See that one? That one's definitely, let me show you a comparison. Big difference on amount of meat. This is a tall, narrow quart, and this one's a wide. All of these are wide mouth, except for the little pint. But it's weird how I actually ran out of these tall quarts. So I had to use one of these, even though I didn't really want to. But hey, it was better than nothing because I wasn't going to worry about wasting that one thing of food. So it's meatloaf, you know, it's going to come out in chunks. Oh well, big deal. I'm not going to be a big deal. But anyway, we're getting ready to have that for supper tonight. So I just wanted to show you the jars. Then I'm going to come back and I'll show you when we open it. And here's another one. See, it really shrank. So I'm wondering, because we did the same type of meat on all of them. Honey, what kind of meat did you get? 84 percentage?
70-30.
Okay, what was the other percentage on the other ones we used? Yeah, they were all 70-30 percentage of meat, and they were drained very well. In fact, hubby's the one that did the cooking and the meat, and he rinsed it with hot water to get as much fat as possible out. But look, oh, I'm sorry, take that back. This time we didn't drain the fat because we cooked this raw. This is raw pack, so that's why there's so much fat in all the jars. Because this was raw packed. I apologize, I just misspoke there. Okay, so anyway, there we are. I'll bring you back when we open the jars. We're doing the sides. We're going to end up having meatloaf with mashed potatoes and cornbread for supper tonight. And we'll come back. I'll open 2 of the jars for our supper, and then we'll heat them up and give you a taste test. Okay, we'll be back. Okay, getting ready to open the other jar. There was a lot of suction, so be careful because you're probably going to rip your lids. But it worked out okay.
Good.
Okay, now he's going to dump it and put it in a plate and see how easy it is to come out. Just dump it upside down. It's supposed to slide out. Let me get a butter knife. Yeah, there you go. Shake it. There you go. You see that? It's all coming out. It's going to angle it so it doesn't dribble and spill. Let it lay down. Lay it down. Okay. Now we're going to drain the juice because we don't need the juice. And he's going to do the same thing to this other one. And let's see how it turns out. Well, that one's easy. And this is the one with the shoulder that we're not supposed to be using for this because it gets stuck. Isn't that a joyful noise? Okay, we're going to put this, we're going to drain all these juices, and then we're going to heat up the meat, and we'll do the taste test. Okay, here we are for the taste test. I would highly recommend that you drain the meat before you put it on your plate because it leaves a lot of fat and grease. But anyway, I just heated this up. Let me do the taste test. It's a little mushy. It's got good flavor. You can definitely taste all the seasonings we put in it. I got onions and bell peppers in here. It is good, yes. Would I do this again? Yes. And is it like homemade meatloaf out of the oven? No way. No comparison whatsoever. But in an emergency situation, or like if you had to go somewhere and leave something and you needed something quick and easy, that this is definitely for good. It will definitely give you some nourishment. As far as I just personally, Rosa, don't like mushy food, and that's what's wrong with it. Everything else is great. The texture's good. It's just too mushy. But anyway, that's just my personal opinion. Thank you so much. I'm going to go eat my dinner, and you all have a wonderful day. We'll catch you in the next video. Bye-bye.